A dominant victory, the ground, the pass game, and what a coincidence. It was without A.J. Brown yesterday. He was out with a hamstring. Or was it a coincidence, Hugh? Because we had quite the weekend of A.J. drama leading into the game, right? So couple of pieces of information to pass along. People probably heard this yesterday. Maybe if you were a little checked out over the weekend, you heard it, but you didn't quite sure what heck people were talking about. Let me read you a couple things, and then we'll hear from Mike Garafolo yesterday before the game. So we know the NFL trade deadline is coming next Tuesday, right? Not tomorrow, a week from this coming Tuesday. Mm-hmm. So here is what was written this weekend about the A.J. Brown situation, the Philadelphia Eagles. This was all leading into the game yesterday. Diana Rossini at the owners' meetings last week, she asked Eagles owner Jeff Lurie what he would do if Brown knocked on his door and asked for a trade. Here is what he said. Quote, this is Jeff Lurie, quote, "We do what's best for the team. We won't even consider it seriously unless it's best for the Eagles. We will always do what gives us the best chance of winning big. Everything else is secondary." She then went on to write that the bottom line, Brown could be frustrated all he wants, but this team plays for the ring first. However, GM Howie Roseman will always listen. If the Eagles get an exorbitant offer, nobody is untradeable in Philadelphia. Adam Schefter, Saturday night into Sunday morning. The Eagles are not expected to trade star wide receiver A.J. Brown before the November 4th trade deadline. But then he added this. The Eagles would be willing to listen to any trade offer, but sources believe Philadelphia would not be willing to part with Brown for anything less than a blockbuster offer, which is not expected to be forthcoming. So, Hugh, leading into the game where we knew he wasn't going to play, both Schefter and Rossini talking about the idea of a trade, and while unlikely, they both framed it as if a huge offer came in, the Eagles will be willing to listen. Then we got this, Mike Garafolo on the field before the game yesterday, kind of rounding everything together.
Thank you, Stace. We've got a hamstring absence here as well. A.J. Brown, the Eagles wide receiver, that hammy tightened up this week. He will not play. The hope is that he is back for their next game on November 10th after the bye. I realize there's a trading deadline in between to this game and that game, but as Ian Rappaport and I have told you multiple times here on this fine broadcasting network, the Eagles have no intention of trading A.J. Brown, and nothing has changed in that regard.
All right, Hugh, what's your view on what went down this weekend, and then the fact they played better out? I mean, the first thing I thought of when I read the quotes from Jeff Lurie and then watched the game yesterday is a message was sent to A.J. Brown over the last couple of days. A message was clearly sent.
Nobody's bigger than the squad.
Nobody's bigger than the team. I think the Eagles sent that through Jeff Lurie's quotes and the Adam Schefter report, like, hey, we're not expected to trade him. If we get a great offer, sure, we will listen because nobody's bigger than the team. It's about the Philadelphia Eagles. And then yesterday on the field was a reminder that nobody's bigger than the team. There's a segment of people out there who I'm sure think the Eagles absolutely, no matter what, need A.J. Brown. Well, they played like they didn't need him yesterday. I don't think it was a coincidence yesterday they played like that. Now, do I think they could do that every game without A.J.? Probably not, right?
No.
He's still a very good player.
You know, when you talk about the Giants and who they are, I mean, outside of that first game that we played against them, they're not on our level.
They're a bad team, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think the Eagles would score 38 a week without A.J. Brown. But I do think yesterday a message was sent. Hey, look at the offense if it's free-flowing. Look at the offense if it's not trying to get the ball to one player. When we're just running the offense, this thing's about the team, not about one player. Here, your read on it, and was yesterday a coincidence?
Well, I do feel like there was a statement being made. Mm-hmm. Now, what that is, I don't know how, but I'm petty also, so that plays into some of it. And it's just one of those things that when you look at it, I had a feeling going into this that it would look different, because, and I made the correlation to Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs when he was there and how it was addition by subtraction. And now, and Ike brought up the point that I bet you Josh Allen wish he had a receiver like Stephon Diggs now. But the bottom line is this. The offense yesterday looked more efficient than it did in a long time.
Totally.
And you'd be foolish not to think that there's some correlation between A.J. not being out there in Jalen's ear or not in Jalen's ear, or just that negative energy that he exudes with this team. Because even though, say for instance, if Smitty was upset about not getting the football, he never said anything. He never let it be known that he was upset. He kind of just went about his business and he waited for his time. And yesterday a time was had. 6 catches for like 84 yards yesterday. Had a really good day. The running game got going. So I think that, and the offensive coordinator got a reprieve for a week.
I thought he called a great game yesterday.
Yeah, he got a reprieve. And it's one of those things where you have to look at all of those things together and say, Now, again, when you look at the Giants, you can say, well, their secondary wasn't that good or whatever you want to say.
It's a bad team.
Yeah, it's a bad team. You can say whatever you want to say. But Jalen's had 2 games back-to-back where he's played well, and A.J. Brown wasn't the focal point of the offense. It was more Smitty than anything. So you take from that what you will. But when we do what we do for a living, you look at that and you gotta wonder. Because going into this game, Joe, people want to know whether or not A.J. was playing possum with this injury. Now, I don't think he was. I don't think he was. Let me say that, and let me say that adamantly. I don't think he was. But the simple fact that people are questioning whether or not you're healthy enough to play is crazy. It's something weird going on.
Well, something weird's been going on the entire year. AJ has never just not seemed happy the whole time. I feel like a message was sent. I think deep down the Eagles do not want to move AJ Brown. I don't believe they do. He's a really good player. He's been a great player, and the more great players you have, the better chance you have of winning a lot of football games. But I think a message was sent from Jeff Lurie's quotes to the way they played yesterday. You're either in or you're out. I mean, we're gonna keep playing. We're gonna keep going, and we're gonna try to win a Super Bowl. You're either in or you're out. Kyle, was that a coincidence yesterday that the Eagles dominated without AJ?
Yeah. I mean, come on. First of all, the Giants absolutely stink.
They do.
And I know the offense looked great, but I think the biggest difference this week to the week before with AJ was the run game was great. The offensive line played better. Saquon looked great. I mean, even Tank Bigsby looked great. That to me doesn't, I'm not connecting the dots there with AJ Brown and why the offense looked great, just because I think the biggest difference was the run game.
It was the biggest difference. That was the biggest change, right? And then you could say that has really little to do with AJ, not being on the field.
Well, it does. It has nothing to do with
it. I thought the pass game, and there was only 20 throws, I thought it was just way more decisive. Like, the ball got out of Jalen Hurts' hands. He held it a few times and got sacked. But, when he threw, there was no looking for... I didn't think yesterday he ever looked for one guy. He just dropped back, especially on the under center things. His back foot at the ground, and he threw to whoever was open. And I feel like at times, you go back that second half against the Bucs, where it felt like they forced the ball to AJ. Yeah. I thought yesterday, it almost felt like they were freer as a team. Like, they didn't have to worry about who's getting targets.
Maybe, but I also think, I don't know, if you look at a lot of the plays there, Devontae doesn't have anyone within the same zip code. I just thought it was a better play calling day from Kevin Patullo.
It was great.
I think guys were just more open. I think it was almost easier for Jalen to be decisive because the decision was ready-made for him. I don't know.
That's fair. But, I guess you can't deny the fact that it kind of felt to me like it was more loose. Like it was more.
It was freer.
It felt more fluid. And I don't know what that, to your point, Kyle, I don't know what that is. And you're right about the running game. The running game was much better than it was last week. That's why it's when things like this happen, you look at everything. You try to figure it out. But you cannot deny that not having AJ out there, the team looked different. That's the point that I'm making. It looked different. The offense looked different.
Well, and I can't – I know we can – I think we want to say it was a coincidence because we don't want to think, they're better without A.J. Brown. I'm just saying the facts are the facts. Their best game came without A.J. Brown. I mean, you could pretend that's not true, but that is true. Their best offensive game this year, he wasn't on the field. So if I'm the Eagles, I have an extra leg. I have a stronger leg to stand on where I'm like, hey, dude, get on board. You're either here and you're going to get on board with what we're doing, or we don't need you. You know what happened yesterday. You kind of spoke this on the pregame show yesterday. If it had gone the other way, right?
Yeah.
If it had gone the other way, let's say we
need AJ.
If they went out there and scored 7 points, it would have been a whole day of, see, they got to make AJ happy. He's the reason they can't win. I mean, Elliott said in the pregame show, the Eagles have stunk over the years without AJ Brown. This is a different year. This is a different team. This team showed me yesterday that they can move the football just fine without AJ Brown.